So in 2009, my daughter started therapy at a place focused on identity. And her personality and our relationships changed dramatically within a couple of weeks. I kept thinking she's misunderstanding something, misinterpreting something. I did not realize she was being groomed to disengage. I did not realize she was being groomed to alienate, to destroy her identity, truly, and to detach from her whole family. This came as a shock to me, and I think it comes as a shock to many parents. I call that shock and awe, which is a maneuver that's done in wars where a party attacks another party unexpectedly so that they be so disoriented that they cannot defend themselves. I honestly cannot remember everything she said, but it was a reinterpretation of everything we had shared in a negative way. And so whenever we talked, I had this tremendous feeling of pillage. I felt like we were a small tribe and somebody invaded and just destroyed everything. Everything was reinterpreted. Concern was interpreted as intrusion. Care was interpreted as manipulation. Availability was interpreted as a disgusting offer. Meeting was reinterpreted as having to be only for 15 minutes, and eye contact was prohibited, to the point that I thought she was developing a mental illness because she wasn't making eye contact. She became illogical, which was really beyond terrifying to me because she's one of the most logical people you've ever met. This continued for a couple of years, and in between there were moments where she still related to me like in the past, in which she shared thoughts with me, especially thoughts that didn't make sense to me. So she shared that her therapist told her that theirs is the sacred relationship and nothing should be discussed with mom or the family. She shared with me that she was evaluating my mother and my mother's sisters, and they were given degrees of dysfunction. She shared with me that I was being diagnosed by the social worker with a personality disorder. Mind you, this person never met anybody in my family whatsoever, knew nothing about us. I worked until 11 o'clock at night to save money, to be able to go to different psychiatrists and psychologists because I could not understand what was going on. I did not know at the time that this was happening to anybody else. I was just completely crushed. And I had watched my parents who survived the Holocaust and the concentration camps as children process and survive that inhumanity. And strangely, it was useful for me. I just made myself extremely comfortable when I got home from work. I made myself a very cozy, soft bed. I played very soothing music, and I allowed myself to cry for hours. I just allowed myself to feel my pain and to feel my despair and to comfort myself and to know that the next day a new day will begin. I just want to say my heart is with you, mothers out there. I know how much you're suffering. I read so many messages that say, I don't know if I can make it through the day. And I want to say, make it through the hour. Make it through the next 10 minutes. Whatever it takes. If what it takes is to know your pain and to give it a name, if what it takes is to know what you're longing for, which is kindness and warmth and sanity, give it a name. If what it takes is to watch a movie that is inspiring, do that. I know the tremendous pain you're in. And I want to also say that so many mothers are on ketamine. But not only the daughters and sons are forgetting that this person is their mother, and they start calling a mother by her name, Mary, Jane, just demoted from who they really are, breaking the relationship as though they actually in reality have the power to become strangers. Not only that, but some of the mothers are practicing forgetting themselves who they are. Ketamine is given to people that survive a crime, that cannot function because of the intense suffering they went through, intense pain, intense fear. Mothers are given ketamine to forget, and to forget that they are mothers. So many people have to be on drugs to make it through the day. And I want to say to you, you're brave. You are so brave. You're brave to push through. You're brave to find your own voice. You're brave to find joy in your life, because eventually you will. Eventually you'll get to do all these things you couldn't do when you were a mother, a young mother. Your life matters. It's precious, it's valuable, and you will forever be a mother. These are forever going to be your children. They are also losing daughterhood and sonhood. They are losing the experience of what it is to be somebody's child. As of now, my daughter is emotionally orphaned. Yes, she hangs around with her father that never contributed to her life in any way, shape, or form in any areas, and never even apologized for it. And I had to pick up the slack financially, emotionally, and on top of that, I also had to hide the pain, the demoralization, and be courageous and hopeful about the future. But she is not experiencing me anybody's daughter now. And I know that for a fact because I myself had been an alienated daughter. And when I reclaimed my daughterhood and my mother and my father, and I fell back in love with them, and there was this absolute trust and love and loyalty between us, I had realized what I had actually missed out on for 40 years. Now, I wasn't totally alienated. I was always there on every one of my mother and every one of my father's doctor appointment. I always picked up the phone the minute they called me, and I've always called my parents at least once a week. But emotionally in my heart, I bought this individuation thing that devalues your parents and their wisdom. And I denied so many aspects of myself that didn't fit with the propaganda and with the indoctrination that, is presented here as becoming yourself.